Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's Revive conversation on weight health. I'm Humberto Chacon, a customer success manager at Revive and a former HR leader and EAP or Everyday Assistance Program customer. Before we start the conversation, let me go over a bit of housekeeping. This is being recorded. Please type any questions you have towards the end into chat. And after the webinar, there will be a survey and a follow-up email with the deck. Now back to the conversation. So today I'm joined by Matt Buff, an expert in wellness and behavior change, and Revive's product manager for the Weight Health program. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you, Humberto, and thank you so much for all those in attendance. I really appreciate you finding time to be with us and allow me to really share our excellent weight health program. So as Humberto already kind of indicated, I'm the product manager for our weight health solution. I've been with the organization for about 2 years now, working pretty diligently on this and really excited to share some of the things that we've achieved in the program that we've stood up.
Great. Matt, would you tell us just a little bit about Revive first before we go into weight health?
Yeah, absolutely. So Revive is very prideful on its ability to be a whole person care solution, right? And it basically facilitates many of the core needs that many individuals need within the healthcare marketplace. We offer everyday support, specialized pathways between mental health and weight health, which obviously we'll get into more later, and then even integrated benefits with physical, medication, health connected, and really just simplifying the whole benefit experience.
Great. Thank you. Can you tell us about the shift that's happening in weight health?
Yeah, I know we don't have enough time to go through the whole shift that maybe most of you are familiar with. But in sincerity, right, weight health is not just a trend. It's not something that we're seeing exponentially rise. It's something that we're going to see have major impacts down the line for our healthcare system, right? It's evolving rapidly. It's a huge cost driver for many employers and members directly. And it's really essential and imperative that we reshape that traditional approach and innovate on what weight health really means. And hence why Revive kind of took it upon themselves to stand up this program and meet the demand and need. Um, I have a couple statistics I want to highlight down here on the bottom right. 40% of US adults meet the criteria for obesity,
Hmm.
and 55% of US adults say they would like to lose weight.
Yeah, yeah, really something. Matt, can you tell me what you're seeing regarding the spend on GLP-1s?
Absolutely. So, kind of reiterating those points I just touched on, if being that so many people are potentially viable for these medications, there was a recent study done and it suggested that employer drug spend could jump by more than 50% if just half of eligible employees were to seek these GLP-1s. So this is concerning and this is costly. And we want, as good partners, to support you in this burden and find unique and innovative solutions to address these rising costs.
Yeah, yeah. And how does the Revive solution work? What's the foundation?
Yeah, definitely. Well, obviously, a lot of the demand right now for these types of programs are really to try and control GLP-1 spend more specifically. However, there's another component that I don't think is given enough attention and care, and that's really the behavioral and accountability drives for ensuring that once a patient or member achieves those outcomes are sustainable for the rest of their life. And unless clinically necessary, they don't need to be on these medications long term. So we're really trying to take more of a root cause analysis and approach to what these external pressures are in a member. Why have they gotten there in the first place? Why has it gotten to a point in their personal journey and their personal healthcare experience to necessitate the use of these medications? And what can we do from a behavioral perspective to support them to ensure that these medications, again, aren't utilized long term? So how I really like to emphasize it is we need to drive long-term ownership. Whereas the medication component, while essential and while very effective, it only drives that short-term action. So when we talk about controlling these downstream costs and controlling the spend in the long run, that's where this long-term ownership is really essential and critical and a core tenet of where we approach the weight health program. I
Yeah.
also want to highlight another quick point here too. Our approach reframes health as a self-directed approach. We've done extensive research, pulled together some immense case studies, brought in some external experts as well to help support and understand, how can we position this program to lead to these more intuitive and habit building approaches to care so that those long-term goals, accountability, and ownership can continue to be maintained. Um, and I want to leave it off here on this quick statement too for the slide. It's not something done to people by them, right? We're not telling people to go to the gym because maybe that doesn't work for their schedule. And I'll get into this a little bit more down the line. But just kind of want to prime you all here for a little bit on for the future. But it's not something that's done to people. It's not something like, hey, go to the gym, eat like this. It's meet them where they are in their healthcare experience and their healthcare journey so that we can drive those measurable, maybe even small, but measurable changes to make and iterate and expand on some very high impact changes in their weight health journey.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And what are the program's highlights?
Yeah, absolutely. So, in totality, the weight health program is a comprehensive benefit. It offers a really more modern, holistic approach to weight management and really just supporting, again, that control for spend for our partners. Our program highlights include provider prescribed weight loss medications, in addition to medication management and adherence support by those physicians and our pharmacy team. We also implement one on one lifestyle coaching to drive that long term success I was discussing earlier. And then we also, in order to support that and supplement even self serve content to further drive that accountability, we have access to a very, very extensive library of wellness and health materials, including nutritional content, mindfulness and meditation, and even workout programs. And this is facilitated through one of our fantastic partners, FitOn, that lives within our experience. And they're one of the industry leaders when it comes to the wealth of content that they provide. I have a quote here that I really want to highlight. We deliver lasting, measurable health change by empowering people to take accountability for their well being and transforming health into a lifelong commitment and not that short term goal.
Yeah, that's great. Can you tell us a bit more about the options and working with providers?
Absolutely. So, with medication management, the way that we typically operate is standing up an initial session with one of our physicians where they assess medical history, body metrics, and labs if needed. They identify any potential exclusionary criteria like comorbidities to also ensure that this medication is not something that's just sought after because it's so popular right now, but
Mm,
because it is clinically necessary for that individual and really just determining the appropriateness of therapy. And then after, let's say, a member does get prescribed a medication, we ensure that there are follow-up sessions with the providers, helping assist with any titration of dosages, following up on side effects, ensuring that safety and adherence are a part of this program, and just reassessing any markers to determine, hey, is this therapy working for you? Is there an alternative?
mhm,
And I want to emphasize that alternative, right? We have a pretty extensive medication portfolio for this program, right? So our main that we really are focused on utilizing is oral Contrave. It's a non-GLP-1 weight loss solution, but it's one that has been on the market for a very long time. The side effects maybe are not as intensive as the GLP-1s for those that may have sensitivities. So again, really just further promoting our mission of addressing this program and this issue from multiple different perspectives.
mm,
However, of course, we have to meet the demand for these oral GLP-1s regardless. So hence, well, excuse me, not just oral GLP-1s, but all GLP-1s. The oral are the new kind of
mhm,
up and coming market solutions, and one that we're going to continue to look to and to expand as they are continue to be released, just because the efficacy and demand for them is so great. But what we currently offer right now is the oral Wegovy, and then of course for the injectables, we have the injectable Wegovy and Zepbound, all
mm.
dosages.
Yeah, that's great. Can you tell us a bit about the coaching model?
Absolutely. So as I kind of positioned earlier, our coaching model is really inundated in lifestyle approaches, right? So you can see here We want to focus on that mindful habit building, overcoming any personal barriers that a member or patient may be experiencing, meeting them where they are, building sustainable plans that help them, and that improvement towards incremental changes is what really results in great outcomes. Of course, we also utilize nutritional education thanks to our coaches, in addition to the content that we provide via Fit On. And then just having that ongoing accountability and meeting with these coaches maybe once a month or once a week, or however a member feels they need to utilize this program, we're really building a comprehensive team to address all the needs
Mhm.
for this member and patient. So this coaching is only a component, but it's such an important and impactful component, again, for driving that long-term change.
Yeah. Can you tell us a bit about Fit On Pro?
Absolutely. Yep. So as I suggested earlier, this is a really great wealth of content that we've been able to utilize. You can see in the figures on the right, that's how our experience today looks like. Um, as soon as you go in, you're immediately met with a call to action. What do you need? Here's our team. Here's the one-on-one support options. And then below that, it's the wealth. And I can't say it enough because it's so extensive of content and programs that our members and patients can utilize to really ensure that they have everything they need to be successful in their weight health journey. So again, unlimited workouts with these world-class trainers and celebrities. And there's many levels of preferences from how a member might want to utilize workouts, whether from HIIT or low impact cardio, just mindfulness and meditation as well, because we know that this mental health component is so important. And then, of
Yeah.
course, these recipes.
Yeah, that's great. Can you give us an example of how someone's used this program?
Absolutely, I would love to. I think that that's what makes this so gratifying for me personally as I continue to develop this program in tandem with the enterprise. But we've had so much success initially, and I want to highlight one member journey who I will not call out by name, but to emphasize, they came in at about 300 pounds. They were struggling with a lot of comorbidities and had some issues just in their daily life moving around. Well, as soon as we provided them that whole ecosystem, that whole comprehensive care plan, and that integrated team between the physician and the coach, they were able to see 80 pounds lost in a year, thanks to the medication component, thanks to the coaches and helping facilitate meal plans and to help support them in their daily needs, push them and drive them. And now this member is living a better life because of that. And that's something that I'm very deeply, personally very proud of. And I want to emphasize too, from like an employer perspective, right? This is really essential because that's driving meaningful, long downstream changes in terms
Mhm.
of a person's outcomes and the cost that they may incur otherwise if they were to
Mhm.
maintain that weight, right?
Yeah.
It's just one story that's truly inspiring and
Yeah,
one that I like to share whenever I have the potential to do so.
that's wonderful. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. And here's where you go for more information. We have some contact information if you'd like to continue the conversation about this program. And please join us next time for a discussion about a better approach to pharmacy. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, be well and see you later. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.